April 30th, of course, is the deadline for most Canadians to file a personal tax return. If you are putting off filing your taxes, think about the tax refund that you could be rewarded with. Blair Mantin from Sands & Associates is here with some tips for tax time. Welcome back, Blair.
Thank you. My pleasure.
We know it comes every year, and yet somehow we're still quite overwhelmed by this and sometimes quite intimidated by this whole tax season. What do you think is the most important tip that you can give people?
Well, definitely it's not the most wonderful time of the world. Nobody loves tax time except for maybe accountants, but the number one tip is just do it. You've got to file every single year. There are very few people, kids who have no income or non-residents who don't have to file a return every year. So it's not pleasurable, but you've really got to do it every year because you'll miss out if you don't. You'll miss out on things like child tax benefit, on those GST checks the government might send you 4 times a year, on MSP premium assistance, which is so important to BC residents. If you don't file your taxes, they're going to hit you for the big premium on MSP, regardless of your income, because they don't know.
That's right. They're basing it on your income so that you can get the deduction, right? What about the timelines, knowing the timelines? It's not as simple as, it's not just one timeline for people, right?
Yeah, it's not just get it in over the year and it's all fine. There's 2 different timelines, and one is if you're a regular, an employee, April 30th is the deadline. So April 30th, your return's got to be in, and really importantly, if you owe money, you're supposed to send a check with the return, so the payments are due that day. Now, if you're self-employed, you get a little bit of a longer time to get your return in. June 15th is the deadline, but the important thing is you've got to know how much tax you're supposed to have paid and remit that by April 30th as well.
So you do an estimate?
You do an estimate, usually based on last year or what you think happened, but if you don't make those remittances, a 5% penalty right off the top and 1% interest per month. It's pretty significant.
So do you find, I know it's human nature, that most people, including the self-employed, just procrastinate to the very end?
Oh, definitely. Every accountant, for February, March, they're going crazy because you wish your clients had set things out in advance, but a lot of the times it's last minute. Government doesn't move their deadlines, so, you just got to try to think ahead as much as you can.
Okay, so what if you are facing a huge tax bill? What are the options for you?
Yeah, and I hope if you take away nothing else from today's segment, take away there is hope, there is options. If you owe the government money, you can't ignore it because the government's got more power than anybody else out there. If you owe Visa, MasterCard, the bank's money, they've got to sue you first before they can take your wages or seize your real estate or things like that. Government can go straight to doing that. With no notice to you, they can start taking 30% of your wages, they can register entitled to your condo. So you need to deal with government debt, but the important thing is you can deal with it like every other debt in a consumer proposal. So a consumer proposal, if you've got MasterCard, Visa, bank debt, and taxes, you can reduce it all down to what you can afford.
Right, and that would mean, so give us a scenario, say if you owed $50,000.
Yes, if you owed $50,000, most consumer proposals provide for a payback of about 30% of the debt. That would be about $15,015, and you'd make monthly payments of $250 a month until you paid off the $15,000. That's a typical proposal I see just about every day. Tax debt can be included.
All right, so there is some hope then.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Blair.
Thank you.